All right. Well, we're going to try and be politics-free for half an hour or so now. And I don't know whether Paula Vennells was lucky because of the political election news that all of this chaos at the inquiry is sort of second-order story today. But there we are. Crying shame is the headline. So she was the former chief executive of the Post Office. She was emotional. She apologised for incorrectly telling MPs the Post Office had been successful in all their court cases against sub-Postmasters. Have a listen.
I fully accept now that the Post Office, the Post Office knew that. I completely accepted. Personally, I didn't know that, and I'm incredibly sorry that that happened to those people and to so many others.
I don't know. What do you think, Salma? She's incredibly sorry now?
I think that's the critical word now, because she had, and I think that's why people are angry, because she had a lot of evidence. There was mounting pressure while she was in role, and it's taken, campaigning for years and, an ITV drama to get to this point where we have an inquiry where, she's being held to account. And I think, look, I don't like anybody going through a hard time, and she's apologised, but I think it is about the sincerity of that apology that's in question and why it took so long. And does it feel like the apology is less valuable in many ways because it took all of that pressure to get there? Well,
also, Matt, I guess because her defence, she still has a defence here, and her defence is I didn't really know what I was doing because I was rubbish. That's fundamentally what she's saying, isn't it?
So let's assume that she's telling the truth there, and there's still this massive question of competence, because if she didn't know any of this stuff, when there were suggestions of a scandal already, as I understand it, years earlier in the British press, why on earth didn't she know? Why wasn't she asking far more robust questions? She was at the very top. And look, this is a reminder that we're all human beings. I don't double guess those tears. She's obviously been through a horrific time herself, but I think most people's sympathy will lie very, very firmly with the hundreds of sub-postmasters whose lives were shattered by this experience.
Yeah, I mean, how? I found the tears a little bit annoying. I hate to say it, because I really have sympathy when someone's caught in the jaws of something like this, and she may well end up in jail. But I mean, the time to cry was when she looks at her list and they say 900 people have been prosecuted on her books.
That was the time to be competent, wasn't
it? Well, yeah,
but
then she now says, I didn't know we were doing... The Post Office did the prosecutions. She claims not to have known that. I just find it incredible.
I find that incredibly unbelievable because, if you're being presented with the brief, if you're the chief executive of an operation, then surely you would be testing this stuff. I understand your point completely about finding the tears annoying because it's, are you crying because of the situation or are you crying because of the situation you find yourself in?
Well, that's it. She's not crying for the victims.
There was a damning bit, wasn't there? Former boss of the Royal Mail in that private text message exchange that was exposed in the inquiry, basically not believing her.
Well, there we are. We'll see what happens, and there may well be police action. Interestingly, at the beginning, she's warned you do appreciate what you say can be used in a future criminal trial. And to do her credit, she said, "I'm going to answer all the questions as truthfully as I can." So she wasn't trying to plead the fifth, as they say in America.